with 7 Number Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. Each week, an inside look into sports, wellness, and fitness. Well, as we tape this show, just a few days before Christmas, what an appropriate thing to have guests from a Christian high school. And our guest today from Luther High School, head coach and a friend, Brad Schaper, along with Alex Kish and Noah Matzke. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Erickson. Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to have you, because you know that I've told my wife this many times, and I mean this with all sincerity. One of my favorite places to go and referee, I don't know if I'm their favorite, but one of my favorite places to go and referee is Luther High School. And you know why it is? Because of the culture. Because of what you're all about. I'm certain that I, make mistakes and so on. But going there just is a warm feeling, and I've always felt that way. And it's Luther High School to me is special. What's your thought on that, Coach?
We are very fortunate to have Luther High School. We have a neat community in our school, but we also have a neat community in Onalaska and the surrounding area as well. And we're so fortunate to be able to work with people like you that come in, and we believe that there's a lot more than just basketball that we've got to do in this life, and having interaction with you is an opportunity for us to show that.
Well, Christmas. Special time for the Erickson family and for you. Got your Christmas shopping done, Alex Kish?
Not at all.
Guess what?
Not one bit.
Why? But we have a few days left. Let's reflect back. You got your Christmas shopping done, no?
No, I don't.
Do you shop in Lewiston, where you travel from every day?
Yeah, we got a new Dollar General, so.
Oh, God! Well, there's a couple of them around here, so let's start with reflecting back on some special Christmases in your life. Noah, down memory lane. I know it's special for you because you're all about Christianity and substance and spirituality. Special Christmases in your young life.
I would say the most special Christmas I've had was probably, I think it was 2012, and my parents, normally we open up presents Christmas Day, but they wanted to change it up a little bit. So they got all the presents ready and made us go hide downstairs, and then we came upstairs and there everything was, and celebrated Christmas the night before. So
pleasant. And for Alex Kish, I'm sure you've had some pretty special Christmases, especially knowing the fact that you're the baby in the family.
Yep.
So you're the one that's been spoiled, because those three sisters tell me all the time, like, Alex gets everything. Is that right, Alex Kish?
Somewhat. I'm also the only guy, so I kind of get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know today is a special day as we tape this show? Special because of the reasons I said, but also special because guess what?
Awesome.
One of my good friends is celebrating her birthday today. You know who that is?
I'm not 100% sure.
Your grandmother.
Oh my gosh. That's bad. I should have known that.
It's Sherry Kish's birthday, so.
Oh no.
Grandma Kish.
What a great friend and a fan of her grandchildren. And when I saw that this morning, I thought, this is pretty appropriate that we would be having her grandson on the show on her birthday.
I'm sure she's going to love it. I don't think she's going to like that I forgot about it, but.
Well, you got a lot of things on your mind, but
yeah.
When we finish taping the show, you're going to get on the phone and you're going to say, Grandma, 2 things. Happy birthday, number 1, and number 2, watch the show today.
Yep.
And she'll be delighted.
Oh, she'll love it.
Coach, I know you're all about family, too. When I think about you, I think about husband, I think about father, I think about teacher, I think about coach, I think about servant leader. That's what you're all about. I'm not sure if I got the order right, but pretty close. But certainly you come from a strong family, too, that celebrated Christmas.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, I think when I reflect on that, my first year out from college when I finally was teaching in Milwaukee, it was Christmas Eve, and we attempted to come home from Milwaukee all the way to Minnesota. It's about a 6-hour trip, and the weather was just terrible, and it took us over 12 hours to get home. And it just it was just important about getting to family and making sure that we did anything to be able to be around those people.
26 years of teaching, 6 years in Milwaukee, and fortunately coming north to the lacrosse area. You were at Mount Calvary. I remember I met you then, and now you're at 10 years as head coach and at Luther High School. It's been a journey, and it's been a pleasant journey for you and your family, hasn't it?
It has been a ride. It's been very exciting. I loved my time in Milwaukee. I equally loved my time at Mount Calvary, but there's something special about Luther High School, and there's something special about being in charge of the basketball program, and we like where it's going. We have some unfinished business to work on, but it's a lot of fun working with the kids that I do at Luther.
Give us a quick update on your kids.
My son Aaron is at the University of Minnesota. He'll be graduating this spring and then returning back to go to graduate school in a major in psychology. And the precious one is in 3rd grade, and she runs the school. And that is Noah's girlfriend, Addie.
Oh, you're kidding me. Well, we had one that was born late, our youngest daughter, Jordana, and she was always the precious one, too, that everyone thought, why does Jordana get everything? And well, she's the baby, like you are, Alex Kish, and 3-sport athlete, honor student, leadership council. You exemplify a student athlete. Very similar to a guy by the name of Scott Kish, your dad, who was a Luther athlete, played for me, a close friend. And you've submerged yourself in the school, and you've bought into the mission, haven't you?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And talk about what it means to be a Luther student athlete.
I think it's always about trying to put the rest of the school first, whether it's your team or the other kids in your class or the other classes. It's just always about thinking about them first and not always putting yourself before them.
Good for you. And Noah Matzke, know your family too, know your older brother, and you're a football, basketball, golf, all conference in football, student council. So with being a student athlete comes expectations. You're on a platform. You have been given a gift. If that gift you use in terms of being a leader, how do you do that?
First thing you got to do is you got to serve others before serving yourself. And by that is you see someone with their books knocked down or something like that, you just go help them up. And out on the court or out on the field or something like that, you see someone struggling, you go and try and teach them how it's supposed to be or something like that. And
how do you handle maybe players on your team that maybe aren't quite buying into that? You see a little drama, you see a little, maybe a little a problem with priorities and so on. How do you handle that because you're a leader?
First thing I do is I try and just step back, watch it, see how it's going, and then once you find like some wiggle room to wiggle in there and help them out, then kind of just attack it and see where they're at, get their heads in.
I like this statement, Coach, and it is applicable to you and it's applicable to all coaches. And the game is overcoached and undertaught. And actually, Coach Bennett said it, Coach Knight has said it. And what that simply means that coaching, throwing all these things in, zone presses and all that, that's fine, but undertaught. Not only undertaught in terms of how to play the game right, but undertaught in terms of the values, the life lessons that go along with it. How do you teach life lessons?
Well, I'll tell you, I think that the fundamentals of the game of basketball have been passed by. I agree with that comment 100%. We've become about the win, we've become about the trophy, we've become about all of those things, and I think all of those things are a reward for how hard the kids work. You're looking at 2 high-quality guys in Alex and Noah. They exemplify what we want to have in our student athletes, and I think if you teach the fundamentals and you teach the rights and wrongs of things and how hard they work, I couldn't be more proud of what they said about having servant-like attitudes. I think all of those successes will naturally come out of that.
You reached a huge milestone last year. I remember it vividly, 100 wins. Pretty special. But you're not all about the spotlight being on you. I know your personality very well, but that was significant, though. and talk about what that meant to you.
I think it was very significant for the program, and it was for the boys. I joked with them. I said, I didn't make a single layup. I didn't make a single basket. I didn't stop anyone. That was all about them. They're the ones that have done this since the get-go. But yet it's a neat thing for those kids to hang on to and say, look, we've achieved something. And I love where my team is this year because they're very hungry to want to achieve something as well.
Are you pleased with what they're doing so far? You're into your 7th game, and you have a couple games yet before the first of the year. Do you like where you're going?
We are developing our identity right now. I would put our schedule up at the beginning of the season with any team in the state. We played a very, very tough opening game, set of games, and we're starting to gel a little bit here, and we're on a little bit of a win streak, and I think the boys are really working hard.
2 wins in a row, Cochran Fountain City, West Salem, and Sparta this week, along with Elma Center, Lincoln, before we close the year. Well, speaking of, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to learn more about what is special about Luther High School basketball right after this.
No matter where you are, it's easy to find Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating, Lacrosse.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Here you are.
Right now, get over $1,700 in rebates and utility credits with your new Carrier Infinity heating and cooling system.
Call or visit us online to ask more about our Gold Star maintenance program.
Schneider Heating, West Salem.
Schneider Heating around West Salem. Here you go.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back to Seven River Sports again today. The spotlight during this Christian holiday on the mission-driven, Christian-centered high school, Luther High School. Brad Schaper, Alex Kish, and Noah Matzke. You know, there's so many temptations out in the world nowadays, and not everybody makes the right decision. How do you discipline yourself as a student-athlete to make the right decisions, Alex?
Obviously, it's hard, but you just got to always think of the bigger picture because some things just aren't worth it in the short time. You think of all the things you can lose if you make that wrong one single decision. All these other things are going to affect you in the long term, which is just something you can't take.
Struggle for many people, isn't it, Noah?
Yeah, it is for sure. As Alex said, it's kind of like a butterfly effect. I've always grown up like that.
Yeah, exactly. Coach, as we look through the break now, and you'll kind of break the game down again and have some extra practice time. Are there some things that you really want to accomplish the second half of the season?
Absolutely. I have to do a better job as a coach of putting together our rotation. I've got our top 7, 8 guys that I think are really going to benefit and help us a lot. I need to keep teaching that next group of players so that everyone can continue to buy into this. We have some pretty big dreams and some pretty big hopes. We love where we're at in the conference, and we also love where we are in the region. We think that we can be a big player in the region when it's all said and done.
You know, part of your success in winning over 100 games and crafting a team is you are blessed with loyal and knowledgeable assistant coaches. Talk about that.
Paul Beckendorf has been with me for over 20 years, and he is faithful and loyal, and he has been there all of the time. Charlie Matzke also has helped out. That's Noah's dad, and he has taken over the defense, which, wow, what a great job he's done, just continuing to work. And then, of course, Mark Lersch, who was a coach in our program for many, many years, and he's been there as well. So everyone loves being around the team, and that's what makes it enjoyable.
All of us are inspired by people. I've been inspired by many people. Who has inspired you, Alex?
I would say easily my dad, my grandpa, and of course Coach Schaper here. It's just everything they do. It's just kind of one of the things I aspire to be.
Biggest takeaway?
Always the generosity. Always looking to give to others more than to give to yourself.
You've been inspired by some quality people too, Noah, and I'm interested in knowing who they are.
My biggest one is probably my brother, Zach. He played for Coach Schaper earlier, a couple years back, and he's probably set a couple goals for me to try and beat, and that's like my biggest accomplishment, or try to accomplish at least.
And you've done well. Well, we don't want to fast forward and hurry your senior year along, but yet in 5-6 months, that's it. Next chapter of your life. Where will the next chapter take Noah Matzke?
I am hopefully looking to go to Western Technical College and hopefully play basketball there.
I know Eric Wench, the head coach, really well.
Yeah.
A good friend, and he would love to have you. You would be a gift to that program.
Yeah, I talked to him after the West Salem game, and he said he's only playing with 9 guys right now. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. So that'd be huge to go over there and play with them.
I don't know if this is a plus or a minus, but guess what? I officiate quite a few of those games.
Cool.
You still want to go there?
Sure.
Alex, you are graduating, and the Kish household will be empty nested.
Yep.
Because you'll be off pursuing something else.
Yeah, I'm hoping to follow the family business, which is mortuary science. My dad owns Schrocker Kish Funeral Home in La Crosse. So I'm hopefully going to St. Cloud and then the University of Minnesota for mortuary science, which is about 4 years total. So.
Which is where your dad went to school. And, of course, your dad and your Uncle Steve own the business, and they're sponsors of many of our broadcasts and a Game of the Week, and sponsor a lot of things throughout the community and are close friends. And you didn't probably know this, but your grandfather, Don Kish, was a close friend of mine, too. Mm-hmm. And they're just a quality family. Well, you've had lots of tough opponents and so on. You're a 3-sport athlete, Alex, and you're a gifted athlete. And you play in a tough conference. Favorite and toughest opponent?
Ooh, that's difficult. I'd say for me personally, favorite is probably West Salem, just because that's where I'm from, and I know a lot of those guys. But toughest, I would say, is definitely GET, especially because they're a team that we've known since we played together 5th grade and up. It's just the same team. So.
And you know, a lot of people thought when the Wagner boys, Nick and Tim, graduated, they'd probably lose it. No. They are as strong this year as they've ever been, and it's a tough challenge, but we all like challenges, don't we, Coach?
You bet.
And you'll be ready for all those games, but GET, I see that on your schedule in January. That will be any other teams that you think will be strong?
GET is really good. I think that the second half that we played them earlier, a couple weeks ago, we wound up, we were within 2 points with about 12 to go. That was kind of the beginning of our run. Black River Falls is going to be really outstanding this year as well. They can shoot the lights out.
Well, we know Ethan Anderson very well, and he certainly is a tremendous athlete and a gifted shooter. What's your philosophy of life? I mean, you're young. It's pretty hard. I don't expect something from Socrates necessarily, Aristotle, or Gandhi, who was one of my heroes. But what's your philosophy of life, Alex?
I would just say to always try to be the best you can be, so that you can be the best you can be for others also.
And how do you demonstrate that as an athlete, as a student, and as a person?
As an athlete, just always trying to stay positive, never looking on the downside, don't take anybody down. On an athlete, or as a student, same thing. It's just always trying to stay positive, even if you're not number 1 in your class, or if you're last, you just always got to do your best. And then in life, it's just, especially since we're from a Lutheran school, just always doing the best to your God-given abilities, just always letting your Christian light shine.
So the true light, the shining light, comes through each and every day for you, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Wake up in the morning, you get ready for the day. What's your thought?
I just go and attack the day as best I can. Just do the best I can to just improve on everything.
You know, I was reading your philosophy of life, and it reminded me of a verse in the book of Proverbs. It talks about being joyful, because that's one of your key words. And in the book of Proverbs, it discusses a joyful heart is good medicine, whereas a crushed spirit dries up the bones. But there's no crushed spirit with you, because you have a joyful heart. How do you demonstrate that?
Never look down. Always stay upbeat and ready to go after anything. Yeah. Yeah,
well, that's good. So these are tough questions, aren't they? So I go to class like I thought we were in class very well. We like to really get to know people. If I asked your teammates to describe you, Noah, what would they say?
Oh boy, I'm not sure. They could bunch of different things, I'm sure.
Oh, good, of course.
I hope.
Well, we'll have to try to do that the next time I work a game. I'll have to get them in the huddle and say, describe Noah, but I'm sure it would be good things, and they would say the same thing, I guess, about you. I'm confident. Well, what would they say? All right, give me 1 or 2 words to describe Alex Kish. What would they say?
Maybe determined, I guess.
Good word. Persistent, determined.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Luther, Noah?
The atmosphere.
Yeah.
Going around, everyone saying hi to each other, good morning. It's just a great atmosphere.
And a lot of people probably don't know anything about that culture, so pretty upbeat, pretty positive.
Yeah.
A lot of our viewers, like, what's special about Luther? And it's because of the family-like life approach and being upbeat and positive, lifting others up.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite thing?
Pretty much the same as Noah. A lot of the kids in your class you grew up with since 5th grade and on, so you know everybody there, and then you go get to be together in school every day, so it's the greatest thing.
Favorite memory through all your years of coaching at Luther, Coach?
Oh boy, I'll tell you, probably we were at Central playing for a regional or a sectional semifinal, and you could not fit another person into that gym, and our entire school was in Night Nation, and they were just going absolutely wild. And to see those kids succeed because of their hard work, that was tops.
How do you measure success?
I think you measure success by the way that these high-quality young men have just said. When you do everything in your power to use all of your gifts and your abilities to try and be successful.
How do you handle athletes that maybe don't have a lot of confidence and aren't achieving the success that you know they could achieve?
Well, I these guys would attest to it. I get on them, and I think that's okay. Someone once said that when the coach stops yelling at you, when the coach stops working at you, he thinks that you don't have anything more to give. Everyone has another level. Everyone has another gear. It's up to us to get that out of them.
Teachers, parents, coaches, their job is to push, encourage, and get people to the next level. That's what you're saying, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Do you do that in class too?
I try to. I hope I do. I want to do more of it, but yes.
Speaking of more, we hope there are more years ahead for you as a coach, and because we want you on the show for the next 10 years, maybe be the host one of these years. But you're a gift to Viterbo. We had Viterbo on a while back. You're a gift to the school, to Luther. You're a gift to the community, and so on. And so is Alex Kish and Noah Matzke. And we wish you the best rest of the season. But more important than that, our hope is that you have a blessed holiday season. So thanks for being on the show, guys.
Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
We'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
No matter where you are, it's easy to find Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating, Lacrosse.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Here you are.
Right now, get over $1,700 in rebates and utility credits with your new Carrier Infinity heating and cooling system.
Call or visit us online to ask more about our Gold Star maintenance program.
Schneider Heating, West Salem.
Schneider Heating around West Salem. Here you go.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Well, Rick and I were on the campus of Aquinas High School, the D.B. Reinhardt Activity Center, for an MVC matchup on Tuesday night. The Onalaska Hilltoppers versus the Aquinas Blue Golds. The game started out with teams exchanging baskets before the Hilltoppers went on a 10-2 run as we approached halftime. At the intermission, Onalaska led 38-29. The second half started with another Hilltopper run that the Blue Golds could not match. The entire half belonged to Onalaska as they scored easy baskets off their half-court offense and their transition game. Balanced scoring for the Hilltoppers, led by 22 points for Noah Skifton, 14 from Gavin McGrath, and Carson Arns, 10 points from Landon Skimp, our player of the game. Aquinas was led by Conley Malone with 19, Brandon Murfelt 16, and center Randy Jacobson with 13. Onalaska moves to 4-1, plays at GET on Thursday as the 4-2 Blue Golds entertain Sauk Prairie before the Christmas break. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's show. We also want to wish our blessed Christmas to all of you, and thank you for supporting us throughout the year. Take some time with your family during this holiday season. I'm your host, Terry Erickson, hoping you will have an active, healthy, and a safe week ahead.